I have a lot of 5% cashback credit cards. I have one for Amazon, one for gas, one for groceries, but I don't think there's a credit card out there as versatile as the Citi Custom Cash. Since I've started this channel, I've consistently listed the Citi Custom Cash as one of the top credit cards. However, now Citi has the best and easiest points to use for domestic travel. So in this video, I'm going to explain why the Citi Custom Cash is one of the best cashback credit cards out right now, and how I didn't clickbait you with my thumbnail, and this credit card can actually give you the equivalent of 10% back. So the Citi Custom Cash is a credit card that will give you 5% back on your top spend category up to $500 a month. And the Citi Custom Cash doesn't lock you into a 5% category. Like other cards, it will adapt to your spending, hence the name Custom Cash. But I do like that Citi automatically gives you that 5% back, because when you have as many credit cards as I do, it starts to get annoying going in and using all the different statement credits and picking your 5% category, or even just remembering to go into the app and activate it every quarter. So you're only going to earn that 5% back on one category up to $500. That means two things. One, this credit card needs to be used for one thing and one thing only. To give you an example, if I spent $500 on something like groceries and then $200 on gas, it would only give me 5% back on that grocery spend and only 1% back on that gas spend. On top of that, it's also only going to give you that 5% back up to $500 of spend each billing cycle. Anything over that is only going to earn 1% back. So let's say I spent $700 a month on groceries on this card. I would earn $25, which is 5% back on the first $500, but then that extra $200 to spend, I would only earn $2 for. So you have to be intentional with the Citi Custom Cash. Think of it like a sniper instead of a machine gun like the Venture X or Double Cash. Let's also now take a deeper look into the possible 5% back categories. The first category you have is restaurants. What is excluded in that category is going to be purchases at bakeries, caterers, or restaurants located inside another business. So that would exclude things like the restaurant inside of a hotel or the Starbucks inside of a Target. The next category is gas stations. That is going to exclude gasoline purchases at warehouse clubs, discount stores, or convenience stores. So unfortunately, if you try to get gas at a place like Sam's Clubs, that's only going to earn 1% back, not 5%. The next category is grocery stores, and that is going to exclude things like general merchandise or discount superstores, wholesale or warehouse clubs, candy or nut stores, and in some cases, online supermarkets or grocery delivery services. The next category is travel, and that is going to include most things, but the exclusions include timeshares, boat leases and rentals, campgrounds and trailer parks, and then real estate agencies. One thing that I do want to mention is that the Citi Custom Cash will indeed give you 5% back at Airbnb, but like I mentioned, it's only going to be up to $500 per billing cycle. But a trick that you can do is split up your Airbnb purchase across 2 months. So let's say it was closer to $1,000. You could pay the first half during one billing cycle, the cap would reset, and then you could pay the $500 the next billing cycle and then get 5% back on that full $1,000 purchase, if that makes sense. The next category is select transit. That is going to knock out all the big categories you'd expect, like Uber, Lyft, car rentals, taxis, subways, but bike and scooter rentals, auto clubs, and then insurance companies are going to be excluded. The next category is select streaming services, and there is quite a few different ones to choose from. I will have my editor put them all up on the screen here. The next category is drugstores, and this doesn't really have any exclusions. Pretty much anything that codes as a drugstore or a pharmacy will count. Next category is home improvement. You have all the big ones in here, your home supply stores, lumber, building, paint and wallpaper stores. However, it will exclude florist supply stores, nursery stock, and wholesale construction stores, and then glass stores. The next category is going to be fitness clubs. The only thing this is going to exclude is fees associated with virtual services for home exercise equipment, personal monitoring devices, or fitness streaming classes. So I would think that would be like your Peloton subscriptions. The last category is live entertainment, and that's going to give you all your basic ones, your concerts and whatnot. It has some goofy exclusions, but one that kind of stood out to me is it excludes movie theaters, which is kind of disappointing. But now that we're through that long list, there are a lot of categories that this card excludes, but for 99% of people, you're just going to use this card for dining, gas, or groceries, and that is going to be just fine. However, there are some other useful categories, which is why I say that the Citi Custom Cash will probably always have a spot in your wallet no matter what your credit card strategy is. So let's say your credit card strategy changes and you have the Amex Gold for dining and then groceries, and then maybe another card for gas, or you're getting it at Costco. You could at the very least put your gym memberships or streaming services on this card. On the flip side of that coin though, if you did want to be extra autistic, you could really maximize this card. For example, let's say that one month I was going to go to a Broncos game to probably watch Bo Nix lose and choke to the Chargers again. I could put the $400, $500, $600 tickets on the card and then use it for the live entertainment category. Then let's say the next month I knew that I was going to paint my house. I could use the custom cash to buy all the paint and supplies to get 5% back on home improvements. Or the next month I could use this card at drugstores to buy all my drugs. The point is that the Citi Custom Cash is truly a Swiss Army knife. And no matter what your credit card strategy is, you will always be able to get value with this card. One, because it's so flexible, and two, it's a no annual fee card. Also, it does give you a pretty healthy sign-up bonus as well. It gives you $200 after you spend $1,500 in 6 months. Now, that is a lot more spend than some other 5% back, no annual fee cards that give you a $200 sign-up bonus, like the Freedom cards, but they also give you 6 months to hit that. And if you put it on one of the 5% back categories, you're getting an effective 18% on your spend. Just so you guys know, there are a couple purchases that don't count towards that minimum spend requirement, some of them being balance transfers, Citi loans, cash advances, checks that you access with your credit card, items returned for credit, unauthorized charges, interest and fees, traveler's check, foreign currency purchases, money orders, wire transfers, and gambling. I know the NFL season is coming around pretty soon, so if you little degenerates were planning on hitting the sign-up bonus with Prize Picks, that's not going to cut it. So what we have here so far is one of the best, if not the best, cashback credit cards. 5% is really the top that you're going to see for any cashback credit cards, especially if you're looking at a category like gas, dining, or groceries. But the superpower of the Citi Custom Cash Card is that it actually earns Citi Thank You points. That's right, chat. If you look at the fine print, the sign-up bonus and rewards are both given to you in those Citi Thank You points. Now, you can redeem those points at what is called 1 cent per point. So that is just going to be cash back. That's going to be something like a statement credit. But if you pair it with one of the Citi Strata cards, you can take those points and transfer them to Citi's transfer partners. And when you do that, it's like you're almost getting double the value. So it's like you're getting 10% back on whatever your top spend category is with the custom cash opposed to that 5% back. And that is actually really busted when you start to think about getting 10% back on your top spend category. So I know what you're probably wondering, chat. How do you unlock this level of wizardry? So first of all, you got to like and subscribe, but then also you get one of the 3 Citi Strata cards. I'm not going to waste your time and cover all of them. Really, the only one worth getting that unlocks everything without scamming you is the Citi Strata Premier. That card on its own is one of the best credit cards, if not the best credit card, like overall, but that gives you full access to all of Citi's transfer partners. So if you're a little bit less advanced and you don't even know what a transfer partner is, basically Citi has a bunch of hotels and airlines that they transferred up with. So instead of redeeming your points for cash back, you can take your points, send them over to that hotel or airline, and then book rooms or flights with that specific hotel or airline. So for example, if I had 5,000 Citi points, which would redeem at $50 cash back, I could send it over to American Airlines and book a flight worth around $100, hence giving me that double value. Now, previously, Citi points were a little bit harder to use, which is why I mostly recommended Chase to beginners because they have, pretty easy points to use. But recently, Citi has added some really good transfer partners, especially for domestic flights, which is flying inside the US of A, making Citi cards one of the best setups now for beginners. Citi recently added American Airlines as a transfer partner, which is one of the most powerful transfer partners right now, probably outside of Hyatt. You can book pretty much any economy domestic flight for under 10,000 points. A lot of times you can find one-way flights for 5,000 or 6,000 points. Those same flights a lot of times would cost you 15,000 to 20,000 points to book with other currencies, or around $150 to $200 if you were to pay cash. Now, American Airlines will probably get devalued as millions of points flood in. Citi also has JetBlue as a transfer partner, which is kind of underrated. They're a lot smaller of an airline, but if you do live near an airport that they fly out of, that can be pretty powerful. And also, JetBlue partnered up with United, so by this time next year, you'll be able to book most United flights with JetBlue. So that's kind of a 2-in-1 transfer partner right there. Also, if you are more advanced in the credit card game, you can use the Alliance flights to book Delta. There's also 20 total partners, so there's a bunch of great international ones. There's some okay hotel partners. I'm not going to dive into all of them, but I just wanted to hammer in how easy it is to use Citi points for domestic travel now. Also, one thing that I wanted to clear up that a lot of people were confused about is that with just the Citi Custom Cash, you can actually send your points out to some of those airlines, but they're going to transfer out at a smaller rate. So you could transfer it to some of Citi's transfer partners, but it would transfer at like a 1 to 0.7 ratio. You would need the Citi Strata Premier to have access to the full 1-to-1 transfer. So you would move the thank you points from your custom cash over to your Strata Premier, and then you could send them out one-to-one. This card also fits into a bigger system, which is referred to as the Citi Trifecta. This is where you get another cashback card, the Citi Double Cash. You use that for all your miscellaneous purchases. You use this custom cash for your top spend category, and then you get that Strata Premier for all the other spend categories that isn't your top spend category. You can pool all your points together and then transfer it out like I just talked about, and that Citi Trifecta is quickly becoming one of the best, if not the best, credit card strategies right now. There is also a way to get multiple of these Citi Custom Cash cards. You can do that via product change. A product change is where you switch your existing credit card to a different one from the same bank, keeping the same account and credit history, but you get all the features of the new card. So let's say I had another Citi card like the Simplicity, Diamond Preferred, or Double Cash. I could call Citi and ask them to product change those cards to a custom cash, and I could do that with multiple cards and then get those cards again and then do more product changes and just get a bunch of custom cash cards. And then I would have different custom cash cards for all my different spend categories, pretty much getting 5% back on every single one of my purchases. That's a pretty crazy strategy. And I know this is more of a beginner video and I'm getting kind of off the rails here and going off on a tangent, but that's just to say you can get multiple of these Citi Custom Cash cards and then make that Citi Trifecta. Well, I guess it wouldn't be a trifecta anymore because you'd have like 5 or 6 cards, even more powerful. To get a little bit more back on track here, I want to talk about what some of the haters say about this card and then some of the cons. So the biggest con is that people say that this card doesn't move the needle very much because of that $500 cap. In that 5% back category, you're limited to $25 a month or $300 a year. However, that equals 30,000 Citi thank you points. And if you're a wage slave like me, that's like 2 round trip flights a year from just putting something like your groceries or gas on this card. So for wage slaves, this actually does absolutely move the needle. This card is also a MasterCard, meaning that you can't use it at Costco gas or inside of Costco. And sometimes Citi is a little bit weird with their approvals. Like generally they approve most people and they're not very strict, but also, some people, they'll just keep denying. It kind of feels like they hold vendettas against some people. Also, they have kind of trash customer service. Like it's obviously not horrible. Like it's going to be a lot better than the crypto card companies. They are a major bank, but it's not going to match American Express or Chase's customer service. Also, for approvals, Citi does have something that they call the 8/65 rule. What this means is that Citi's automatically going to deny you if you apply for more than 1 Citi credit card within 8 days and more than 2 credit cards within 65 days. So if you are trying to get 6 custom cashes, make sure you spread out your applications a couple months. The only reason that I haven't gotten the custom cash or any of Citi cards yet is because I'm waiting to get a couple of Chase cards first. They have this 524 thing going on. I won't get into detail about that, but if you have all the Chase cards that you want or you don't care about Chase cards at all, I would absolutely go all in on Citi's ecosystem or just get this as a really good cashback card. You can't really go wrong with it. If you want to learn more about the Citi Strata Premier and have me talk more coherently about the Citi Trifecta, you can click this video right here.
Oh my God, Daniel's working on his custom cash video. Wait, do it again. I'll put it in. Okay. Okay.